This original WSRE presentation is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Rameca Vincent Leary and welcome to this edition of inStudio. Hurricane season is underway and as the clock ticks, it would be devastating to be caught off guard. So what can you do to ensure you and your loved ones are prepared during a natural disaster? There are many questions and tonight's guest will provide the answers regarding everything you need to do before, during, and after a storm. Stay with us. We'll have more right after this. Welcome back, everyone. During this edition of inStudio, we'll be speaking with representatives from several organizations that have vital information to keep you and your loved ones safe during hurricane season. We'll be chatting with guests from the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, Escambia and Okaloosa County Emergency Management Divisions, Pensacola Fire Department, and the Panhandle Animal Welfare Society. But first, we'll focus our attention on past storms and the impact they've had on the Panhandle and other parts of the state. To discuss this, we have Jason Beaman, warning coordination meteorologist with the National Weather Service. He's joined by Brad Baker, emergency management director for Santa Rosa County, and Brandi Whitehurst, the county's public information officer. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
These are vital times, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yes.
Hurricane season is already underway. End of November. We have a few months off. Jason, let's start with you. From a historical perspective in the Panhandle, there have been quite a few storms, haven't there?
There have been many impactful storms across the Northwest Florida Panhandle. So many historical hurricanes to look at to see how they impact the area and how we can prepare going forward. And one of the first storms was right around the turn of the century, 1906.
1906. Were hurricanes named back then?
Not then. No names back then. So it was just known as the September 1906 hurricane.
Curiously speaking, there are a lot of people out there that wonder how these hurricanes are named. Is there a process? And how many storms could be named during any given year?
Well, the names are a list that are developed by the World Meteorological Organization, which is a group of weather services all across the world that come together each year and determine what the names are going to be. There's an ongoing list of names that they're recycled every 6 years, but they come together every year for a meeting to see if any names need to be retired. If they've been impactful, caused many deaths, damage, we don't want to reuse those names, so those names are then retired and replaced. Yes, they're retired. You won't see it again. So, for like example, no more Ivans, no more Katrinas. Those names are replaced on the list going forward.
Let's go back to 1906. Can you describe the devastation in the area? Any particulars?
Well, looking back at what the Weather Observer said back in 1906, this storm made landfall on the Mississippi coast, but it was a very large storm. And the Weather Observer said it was the most impactful and devastating storm in the Pensacola area in the last 170 years, which is quite remarkable when you think about it. It was a devastating 10-foot storm surge across Pensacola area that destroyed much of what was in its path, along with winds estimated over 100 miles an hour. So truly devastating for the Pensacola area at that time.
Well, let's segue briefly into 1916.
Yes, 1916, again, it made landfall near Biloxi. So it was far away from the Northwest Florida Panhandle, but the size of the storm produced a 6-foot storm surge around Pensacola, 100+ mile-an-hour winds, but also produced a record storm surge in Mobile Bay that has yet to be topped to this point.
Interesting factoid. Brandi, Santa Rosa County, we should always be ready, right?
Absolutely, yes. Be ready.
Sometimes people will drag their feet, but that should never happen.
No, disasters can happen at any time, but now that hurricane season's upon us, it's an especially important time for people to start making a plan.
What are some of the things that people should really keep in mind? One thing that comes to mind, as far as I'm concerned, is an emergency kit for a family and a game plan for families.
A disaster plan is your most important thing for you to do. And then having a disaster kit of all the special items that you're going to need for your family for at least 3 days. The first 72 are on you is what we tell everybody.
I understand you have something important right here that you would like to hold up and show our viewers.
Yes.
If you'll just keep that up there. Emergency preparedness, talk about that.
So this disaster guide has all the information you need to prepare for hurricanes and any other disasters that can affect our area. And the important thing about picking up one of these disaster guides, and they're available at any Santa Rosa County office or library, is you'll have this information if you lose power. So that's nice to you can go now and look at our website and get it, but it'd be nice to have it in the event there's a storm and you lose power, you can reference the information you need.
What are some of the things that people should have in an emergency kit?
So you need to have important documents that include your insurance policies, any of the other important valuable information, maybe an inventory of what's in your home. You need 3 days supply of food and water, and you also need medications. You need any of the materials, medical supplies for if you have a family, if you have small children. You're going to want entertainment for them as well, books and games and things to keep them happy because children get anxious during storms.
We'll come back to you in a moment, Brandi. Now, Brad, I actually lived during Hurricane Hugo, which hit Charleston, South Carolina in 1989. Regarding an emergency kit, there were a lot of senior citizens that didn't have their medicine. So we sometimes take things for granted, don't we?
Yeah, we do, and we encourage our senior citizens. We actually encourage anybody who's on medication to go ahead and reach out to their pharmacist and try to get some advanced medication to be prepared for that. Because if we take a substantial hit from a hurricane, we are going to be without power, and those pharmacies are going to be closed for a period of time. They're not going to be able to access that. So it is very important.
How important is it to let your loved ones know where you are? We don't want frantic relatives, do we?
We don't. In this day and age, we have all our social media outlets, and it's a good way to keep people informed. So we encourage people to have a family plan, like Brandi said, and then communicate that. Where are you going to be? If you're going to evacuate, we encourage you to evacuate early. We encourage you to evacuate tens of miles, not hundreds of miles. And let some out-of-county family member know what your plan is and what's the plan to reconnect with everybody.
Speaking of plans and evacuation routes for those who are leaving the area, regarding Santa Rosa County, I know that you have specifics in the guide and on your website, right?
We do, and they can find them in either spot. And like I said, we encourage people tens of miles, not hundreds. And we have a pretty good building code in Florida, and if you have a newer house, our real motto is that you run from water and you hide from wind. So if you're in a surge zone, we're telling you need to evacuate because water is what kills you during a hurricane, and then you hide from the wind. So.
And why is it so important for people to know their evacuation zones? People must know that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, you've talked about other storms, so I can tell you from Ivan, back in our 911 center, we took numerous calls of people who were trapped in their house. They were in that flood zone and didn't evacuate, in that surge zone and did not evacuate. And then, our responders just can't go out. If that surge is coming in, you're not going to get the fire department, the police department, the ambulance to come rescue you. So a lot of horrible 911 calls that we had to listen to.
Devastating. Jason, back to you. Let's talk about false weather information. Please expand on this.
Well, in the age of social media, anybody can post anything they really want to. And so with that comes perils. We ask people to rely on trusted sources of information, not only during hurricane season, but all through the year. The local National Weather Service office, you can follow us at NWS Mobile, local emergency management, and local broadcast media. Those are the sources that are going to give you correct information and actionable information, because a lot of people out there want to scare you. But our mission is to prepare you for what's coming.
And I know you touched on Ivan briefly. Jason, expand on Ivan and the storm surge.
Yes, Ivan was a devastating storm for the Northwest Florida Panhandle. Storm surge was 12 to 13 feet, especially in the Pensacola Bay region. With the storm making landfall near Gulf Shores, Alabama, it was you had to go back all the way, to Opal, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, in a little while. But Ivan was the last significant storm really to impact the Northwest Florida in regards to a devastating storm surge and showing what the power of water really does. A
lot of people take it for granted, don't they?
They do. They underestimate the power of water. Now you got to respect the water, and that's why preparation is key.
All right, good information. Brandi, back to you. When it comes to dollars and cents, some people are not prepared monetarily. Let's talk about cash and the importance of obtaining some, having some on reserve.
Well, cash is king after a storm. And if the power is out, your ATM's most likely to be out, and you're not going to be left with an opportunity to pay for goods and services you might need in a lot of cases. So we encourage people to have a reasonable amount of cash on hand so that they can be prepared for that, or to go ahead and purchase those items they need in advance prior to a storm, so they aren't left with having to try to buy what they need afterwards when prices might be inflated.
And absolutely, before a storm, whether you're staying at home or not, definitely make sure that you fuel your vehicles, correct?
Absolutely.
And what about storm shutters? What about safety precautions for the home?
And that we address a lot of that in our guide. We encourage people to mitigate. The money that you spend mitigating your home up front is going to save you a lot more on the back end after a storm. And we feel the same way about flood insurance. It's a drop in the bucket compared to flood damage. And your homeowner's insurance is not going to cover flood damage to your house from storm surge or otherwise.
Now, Brad, there are probably some people out there that may not have the appropriate shutters or precautions for things on the exterior of a home. We think about patio and lawn furniture that could ultimately be projectiles.
That's correct. So we encourage everybody to, understand their environment they're in and pick up those things that will become projectiles. And I want to reiterate that point because we had some flooding back in 2014, and 80% of the people who got flooded either did not live in a flood zone at all or did not have flood insurance. And you're talking about 3 foot of water, even though it's from a flash flood event, but people don't realize, you live in Florida, you're really in a flood zone. So, and you can't, when that hurricane is in the Gulf, you're not going to get flood insurance. There is going to be a waiting period. So go invest in it now because it's what's going to take care of that water damage in your house.
Jason, working with the National Weather Service, I know that you have heard some harrowing things. Can you share maybe a brief story of someone that you've helped in the midst of a storm?
We help so many people, and no matter the storm, we get calls. We're in communication with a lot of people during an event. We're in contact with emergency management, but we also have the public call, and the public sometimes just doesn't know what to do or how to act. And so while a specific example doesn't come to mind, I do recall countless weather events that we've been there for the public. That's what the National Weather Service is for. We're a taxpayer-funded agency.
Yes.
We're public servants. And so we want to help the public in their preparations and making good, sound decisions and understanding the threats that are out there. And we really found, especially through our social media communication, since that's become an avenue for us, that we've been able to really reach out to people and give them a better understanding of what's coming. And people have thanked us, and I know they're thankful to emergency management as well, of giving good, sound, actionable information, counteracting all that bad social media information that's out there.
All right, we need some good social media, right?
That's right.
Right, Brad?
That's right.
Right, Brandi. I thank all of you for joining us during this segment. Now, folks, as we head to break, to find out more hurricane preparedness information in Santa Rosa County, log on to the website santarosa.fl.gov/emergency. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back in a moment.
American Graduate is proud to recognize a champion for education.
Autism Pensacola is a support group for those living with autism, and we seek to improve life for those living with autism.
They have given us an opportunity to be part of our son's education, to be part of his playtime. They care about inclusion and acceptance.
And our goal, of course, is to increase children's independence and help them be successful in school. We want teachers who are equipped to meet the needs of children with autism in the schools. WSRE has been a great partner with Autism Pensacola, providing us with PBS resources and helping us further our mission. We know that working together as a community, we can improve life for all of those living with autism and have great outcomes.
We get to see these kids make such great gains in communication and in social skills. So it's so important for families of autism to have this wealth of information as well as support.
And it's so meaningful when a parent comes to you and says, this is just what I needed for my son. It's made such a difference in my child's life. The more we do for them as children, the more positive their outcomes will be as adults.
Autism Pensacola, helping children and families connect the pieces. For more stories of champions, visit AmericanGraduate.org.
Hello everyone. During this segment, we're happy to have Jason Beaman, Warning Coordination Meteorologist with the National Weather Service, back again. He's joined by Major Andrew Hobbs from the Escambia County Sheriff's Office and John Dosh, Escambia County Emergency Management Director. I'm thrilled to have all of you on the show. Now, Major Hobbs, I understand you and John know each other very well and you've worked closely during some natural disasters. Please elaborate.
We have. I've had the pleasure of learning and working with JD for over the last 8 years. We've dealt with floods, tornadoes, tropical storms, jail explosions. If you name it, we've dealt with it here in Escambia County, and he's helped us lead our community the whole way.
We are emphasizing now what happens during a storm from a law enforcement perspective. What is the first thing that citizens need to do or realize in relation to safety?
They need to understand if they're on a barrier island, there's going to be times that we're going to shut the bridges down. Once the wind gets to a certain mile an hour, and that's kind of fluctuates depending on the storm, we're going to cut that off. We're going to stop them being able to come and go as they want. Also, they have to understand all first responders are going to stop responding once the weather gets to a point that it's not safe to respond. So we're going to be out there at the beginning trying to get them to evacuate the areas they need to, and at a certain point they're going to be on their own.
All right, now John, emergency alert notifications. Talk about Escambia County in that respect.
Well, we typically, when we get to a position where we have to notify the public of any type of pending emergency, we like to use the analogy of using every tool in the toolbox.
Good one.
We have an Alert Escambia system that is an automated system. We use the what's considered a system on your cell phones, which is called WIA, which is in coordination with the National Weather Service. We use social media. We use just about any source that we can find. We have folks from the media that are embedded with us in the Emergency Operations Center, and we work with them closely as well to try to get the message out on whatever the public needs to do.
How important, Major Hobbs, is it for people not to panic in the midst of a storm, during that storm?
Yeah, that's going to be the hardest thing because some people have never dealt with a hurricane. So we have, people moving here. We have tourism. It's going to be the biggest thing is not to worry. You're going to get all the information you can get in the beginning. And if you don't need to be there, we're going to let you know. Don't be there. And as soon as the storm's over, we're going to come get you. As soon as we can get out there, the first responders of Escambia County will be there to get you.
Jason, during a storm, we have some thrill seekers, don't we, from time to time. They say, oh, it's not raining right now. Let me go out during the eye of the storm. Why should we not do that?
Because those calm conditions inside the eye of the storm are not going to last long at all. Typically, sometimes maybe only 10, 15 minutes, depending on how large the eye is and how fast the storm is moving. So you can really get caught on the backside of the storm very fast and put yourself in a very perilous situation where you're seeing a quick return of hurricane force winds, and with those winds is flying debris.
Absolutely. Now, for those who weather the storm at home, would cracking windows help? Have you ever heard that?
We've heard it, and
crack your windows.
Please don't do that.
Don't do that, right?
All you're doing is inviting the wind into your home that can then take off your roof, so to speak. So we keep windows covered. We encourage you to cover them with shutters, protect those windows. You want to keep the wind out at all costs. So that the old wise, old tale of, it helps to lower the pressure, reduce the pressure. That's not what does it. It's the wind getting inside the home, and that takes off the roof, and then the structure is compromised.
Interesting. And I'm glad that you brought that point up. John, back to you over in Escambia County. We know each county has its own set of evacuation routes, correct?
That's correct.
When it comes to people trying to get out of the county, for example, are you flooded with calls often during a storm, people that are saying, okay, I'm here now, I'd like to get out? We know that we have information available on your website, but can you provide the public with some tips? I know Major Hobbs said that as a first responder, we can't come in until we are able, but you'll have some people on the line sometimes that might be a little impatient.
Right. Well, typically we hope that people will heed any evacuation warnings and have left those danger areas. And we're typically putting that information out prior to the onset of tropical storm force winds because we want the evacuation to be complete before the danger starts. So, it's very important that people heed the warning. The information is readily available out there on our website, where they can call us. We typically have our Citizens Information Center open and available to provide those details if they have questions. But the key is we hope they don't wait till it's too late. We hope they act early and be prepared now.
So let's talk about someone staying at home, right, during the storm, and they have an idea, well, I think I'll sit in the den or I'll go in the kitchen and make a sandwich. Why should they not be in such open spaces?
Well, as the winds increase and the wind pressures increase, it's typically a good idea to find an interior room or a low space within their structure, providing they're not in any one of those storm surge zones or flooded areas, to protect themselves from any flying debris that may pierce the outer envelope of the structure itself. You hear a lot of people talk about the steps you need to take for a tornado. You can use some of those same steps for a hurricane by providing yourself interior rooms with little windows or doors, being in a hallway, something that provides you with that extra level of protection from the outside world.
All right, Major Hobbs, you have seen a lot. The two of you have worked closely, and I know that's something that you really cherish. When it comes to someone that might be trapped inside a home, should they cover themselves if they are threatened in any way by the storm?
Yeah, you want to get into an interior room, just like JD was saying earlier, and you're going to want to cover yourself up if you have a bed, if you have anything that can maybe stop the falling debris, to give yourself a space where if something collapses on you, you're going to be able to keep area to breathe. It just depends on what situation you have going on right there, but it's always best to protect yourself as best you can.
Can you, Jason, differentiate between a storm surge watch versus a warning?
Just starting last year, the National Weather Service started issuing storm surge specific products in addition to the regular hurricane watches and warnings. And a storm surge watch basically means if you're in a watch, a storm surge watch, there is the possibility of life-threatening storm surge within 48 hours. And a storm surge warning means that there is the danger of life-threatening storm surge within 36 hours. So if you're under storm surge watch, or especially a warning, it is time to get out, if you're in a surge zone, follow the local officials in the evacuation zones and make sure that you're seeking proper refuge from the storm.
Jason, also it's interesting that the impact of a tropical storm can sometimes be even more devastating than people might think, right? So give us an example or two of tropical storm related deaths that you know of, or just scenarios, for example.
When you look at, especially slow-moving tropical storms, you look back in 1994, Tropical Storm Alberto, parts of the Florida Panhandle and southern Georgia were devastated by flooding because the storm sat there for days. You look back at Tropical Storm Allison back in, I believe, the late 90s, over in the Houston metro area, produced devastating flooding. So it's not always the category of the storm or the wind speed. It's the water that kills 3/4 of the people in all tropical storms and hurricanes, not the winds. So it's a matter of the storm surge and the flooding that you have to worry for, and it's not tied directly to the category of the storm.
Wow. So John, in Escambia County, and I know the devastation can be horrific, give us an example of a scenario from your county where maybe we had some horrible flooding and wind damage, and how you may have addressed that.
Well, basically, if we're dealing with a tropical event where we've had those types of impacts, Once it becomes safe for first responders to go out and try to assist those, we're taking 911 calls all through the storm, providing the phone system stay up, and they'll start cataloging those calls based upon the severity, the life-threatening severity of the call. And as soon as it becomes safe for the responders to go out, they'll start dispatching the responders to those life-threatening calls and trying to get the help out to the people that need it the most as quickly as possible. Certainly those flooded areas, it's all about staying out of the water for the most part, whether you're in storm surge or whether you're in a flooded area. It's all about staying out of the water if you can.
Major Hobbs, scenarios such as downed power lines, trees that have fallen in the middle of a road. I know that there are countless scenarios, right?
Yes.
But you really have to think on your feet, right?
We do, and that's one of the biggest reasons we limit people's access to certain areas. And that's the biggest question we get a lot. And those things you talked about are the biggest reasons. You have gas lines, power lines, trees down. It's not safe for people to go in those areas. We try to get the people who can get out of those areas out so we can get the people in there to cut the trees, the gas lines cut, the power lines cut, so it can make it a safer area to return to.
Sadly, there are some issues that do come to light. Let's talk about price gouging and people not treating their neighbors nicely.
Yeah, sadly, in some of our worst times, some of the worst behaviors happen. Price gouging, we'll work with the Attorney General's office of the state of Florida. Again, I tell everyone, in those times, be a good neighbor. We're a great community here in Escambia County. We need to show it in those times, and we do normally, but you do have occasions that neighbors will want to come over and take something out of somebody's yard. You get somebody to come do work for your roof and they're charging you too much. So those events do occur, and we address those as they come up.
Jason, back to you. Your service, impeccable. We know that you've seen quite a bit. Talk about the Mobile, Alabama area for just a moment.
Well, Mobile, Alabama area is home for me. I grew up in southern Baldwin County. I still live in Baldwin County. So the Mobile, Pensacola area is a special area with lots of beautiful places to live, great places for family, beautiful coast. And so it's a great place to live. And we just, we have so many new visitors coming, or new residents coming into the area, that we really want people to be educated ahead of the time for storms. So, we love the area. We're all citizens of the area, and we all want to help each other weather these storms as they come. So it's home.
And I'm glad that you're so excited about it, just hearing your story. Let's talk about weather conditions in that area, though, compared to what we may experience here in the Pensacola area.
It all depends on where the storm is,
Yes.
really. Location, right?
We hear it all the time.
It all depends on the particular storm. Some storms are very small, some hurricanes are very large. And so the impact can be felt, it really varies with each storm. That's why we encourage people to focus on the forecast for that particular storm. Don't compare too much to past storms, because they're all a little bit different and have different threats, and that are going to result in different things for the Mobile and Pensacola areas.
All right, good advice. Any words for those viewing from the Escambia County area who may not have an emergency plan in place for their family?
I would say don't wait too much longer. You need to get that done as soon as possible. Presently we're into the hurricane season, and that plan can certainly help you. It produces a roadmap of what you need to do, how you need to do it, where you're going, when you're going, and so on. So it's very important for you to do that.
More from you a little later. Now, folks, to find the latest up-to-the-minute details on Escambia County emergency preparedness, log on to the website, bereadyescambia.com. Meanwhile, the website for the Escambia County Sheriff's Office is www.escambiaso.com.
American Graduate is proud to recognize a champion for education.
Our mission is to provide girls and young women an opportunity for a better future through education, counseling, training, and advocacy to enable them to become independent, empowered young women and productive members of our society.
I didn't want to graduate. I was going to drop out, and then I came to PACE.
Frequent discipline problems, family issues that cost them to not be able to attend school regularly, so they had big gaps in their learning.
I didn't used to like coming to school, but once I started coming to PACE, it really brought me out to
love school.
A lot of times we might be that student's confidence until she begins to see her successes and see that she really can accomplish everything that she's come here to do. But education is more than just the academics. It's being able to function in society and be successful there. And we see that with our girls and we love it.
Now I'm being a leader instead of a follower. And I have people looking up to me to be the best person I can be.
Pace Center for Girls is just a beautiful place to be because amazing things happen in the lives of the girls every day, and we're here to celebrate it.
PACE Center for Girls in Pensacola, a positive environment to help young women grow, achieve, and succeed. For more stories of champions, visit AmericanGraduate.org.
We are back. During this segment, we're happy to have two fine gentlemen joining us once again. Major Andrew Hobbs with the Escambia County Sheriff's Office and John Dosh, Escambia County Emergency Management Director. Plus, we'd like to welcome Christopher Saul, Public Information Officer for Okaloosa County. Gentlemen, I'm happy to have all of you here this evening. Christopher, let's start with you. I understand that you have a background in local television. When you were in the field, did you report on any natural disasters?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. A couple wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes. So just a little bit of a variety in my short time in television, I suppose.
No, it brings back a lot of memories, right? So speaking of natural disasters in Okaloosa County, I know there are some things specific to your county that may not pertain to Escambia or Santa Rosa for that matter. Why don't you talk about that a little?
Well, I guess the main difference would be, of course, that our evacuation route is State Route 85, which goes straight from our beaches through Crestview toward Alabama. That would be the main evacuation route for our area.
Okay, also specific to your county, Christopher, when you have a natural disaster, it might be a hurricane, it might be a tropical storm, as you stated previously, 911 calls rampant. So I know that we have your website and we can direct our viewers to that site, but advice for people who are on the verge of panicking. What should they do?
They should definitely not panic. They should take everything that our website has, store that either as a hard copy with the rest of their emergency supplies, or just take note of the way that their neighbors are reacting, someone that might be more hardened towards these storms if they're new to town.
All right, and I know we're talking about what happens after the storm even more so in this segment, right? I've got one more question for you, Christopher. So let's say somebody has left the area during a storm. They get back home and they realize, my goodness, there are trees on my roof. What do I do? We need to be prepared, don't we?
We absolutely do. I would have the names and the numbers of tree services in that situation. Our guys are going to be busy clearing the roadways, making it possible to bring in emergency supplies, things of that nature. So we ask that all citizens maintain their lawns and have a plan to take care of their personal property in the immediate aftermath of an event like this.
All right. Major Hobbs, there are a lot of people that may have put some plywood up to a window before the storm, right? Mm-hmm. Now it's time to take that plywood away, nails, other debris. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we're gonna have enough debris as is. If you're going to take those things down, you need to store those in a place that it's not going to be in the way. We're going to have trees down, we're going to have nails, we're going to have glass. So if you did utilize that, you're going to need to store it, keep it out of the way of everyone else, and you're going to need to use it again probably down the road. So yeah.
Now, John, this next thing is pertinent to anyone living in any county. We have people sometimes that are a little cavalier. They say, okay, it stopped raining. Now, let's see if the gas works. Down power line, oh, what's that? What should they do? Should they wait and not do anything in a situation like that?
There's a lot of variables there, but yes, if you're not experienced with any of that stuff, I would probably recommend that you stay away from any of those things. As far as power lines, you should treat every power line as it being energized. The power company will get there and secure that eventually, so that you should keep your family members and pets and any people away from the power line to prevent any electrical shock. Gas, if you smell gas, make the call to the gas company or to 911, let us know, and we'll try to get the gas company out there to secure that. Maybe we can get emergency responders out there to secure it as well.
Major Hobbs, we talked about price gouging briefly last segment, but let's expand on that a little bit, because after a storm, let's say we have some roof damage and we have roofers come in from another area and they decide they want to deposit, give me $5,000 now, for example, and they don't do the work. Let's talk about that. A lot of innocent people sometimes can be duped.
Yes, that happens quite often, sadly. But you need to do your due diligence. I know you're going to be in a time where you're going to want things fixed quickly, but you need to make sure they're licensed. The county will have situations set up where they can make sure those people are legitimate business people, that they're licensed and permitted. And if you do those steps, it will stop a lot of that from happening. And don't ever give people money who you don't know. If you don't know they're good business, you don't know anyone else they've done work for, you don't know they're permitted through the county, don't use them.
I know that happened to a few people that I knew back in 1989 with Hurricane Hugo in Charleston, South Carolina. Quite devastating. Christopher, back to you. Okay, so I don't have any water. I just came back home, or maybe even I stayed home during a natural disaster. Turn on the water fountain. Oh, should I drink that water until I receive? I should wait, right? I need notification that it's okay.
Like John said, there are a lot of variables. If it's bad enough to where you've left, it might be a good idea to call us at the Water and Sewer Department, Okaloosa County Water and Sewer. They can usually tell you what's going on, or call your local water and sewer provider, whether you're in a municipality or not. It's always a good idea, though, to have that first 72-hour kit. It's something that everybody should have. It should include a gallon of water for each day, so 3 gallons of water per person in your family, mosquito spray, baby wipes, things like that, that'll help you get through that first 72 hours without having to say, oh, you know what, well, I'm really thirsty, I need to drink something. So you always want to have that kit ready to go so that you can help yourself, because that's really what it's going to come down to in that first 72 hours.
Excellent advice, at least for 3 days. Now, John, back to you. So when I was in the midst of Hurricane Hugo back in the day, my dad took out a hibachi grill, went in the backyard, and we had pretty much a neighborhood block party. But indoors, people really shouldn't be burning candles, especially unattended. What are some other things? If the electricity is out, what should they do?
It's encouraged that we stay away from open flames, especially indoors, because there's carbon monoxide dangers that can occur. Sometimes there's poor use of candles where you increase the fire danger. With the electricity being out, with water systems being down, all the things associated with a disaster, it's really not the time to be out there using those systems and potentially causing great harm to yourselves and your property. So we encourage people to use battery-operated items as much as possible. Stay away from the open flame.
Absolutely. Let's talk about generators, Major Hobbs. Some people might think that it's okay to put one in their home, portable generator. We know not to do that, but let's educate really our viewers about that. It's so important.
It's the same thing John was talking about. You have your carbon monoxide buildup. It's never okay to start one of those in an enclosed garage. And you know, we get a lot of calls about people saying, well, I'm scared they're going to get stolen. Well, secure them, put them near your home, but you can replace a generator. You can't replace a life. And sadly, you'll see in a lot of disaster areas where someone started a generator inside an enclosed garage or inside their house, worried that somebody's going to take it, and it takes a family. It doesn't take too long for that generator running to fill your home up with gases that you may not even smell. You may not even know it even happened. So safety is paramount. And, you know, again, start those, run those outside, keep air flowing in your home. You just don't need those inside your house.
Major Hobbs, we also talked about the importance of filling up before any kind of natural disaster. You've probably run into a scenario or two where there was someone pulled over on the side of the road in the midst, before, during, or after possibly, that maybe ran out of gas. So as a precaution, they should do what?
You need to get your gas early, because there's things that are going to happen. I promise you they happen every disaster. There's going to be long lines. Gas trucks cannot get in if there's bridges out and things like that. So there's going to be the gas station are going to run out of gas. So don't try to drive around. Don't go look at things. I know you want to. It's human nature.
Also, avoid that.
Yeah, rubbernecking. Fill up. Do your best to get where you are. Don't wait. Just like John has said, don't wait till the last minute. You got to get filled up. You got to get your water. You have to do everything ahead of time, because right before, during, and after, a lot of the things we take for granted today are not going to be there.
John, let's talk about elder care and senior citizens, many of whom have special medications that must be taken at particular times. Heat-related issues can also impact them.
Sure.
So even during a natural disaster, that compounded with other things could spell tragedy, right?
Absolutely. We encourage family members, neighbors, friends for those elderly that may have special needs, that are going to be staying at home and not evacuating, to check in on them after the storm and make sure that they are comfortable and safe, and make sure they have the medications that you referred to. A lot of people don't realize when the governor puts us under a local state of emergency, there's a process in place where they can get a big chunk of their medications replaced at the local pharmacies. That allows them to get more than they would normally be able to get, to be able to stockpile and have those for long-term situations after the storm.
And we have so many people that are joining forces before, during, and after a storm. Christopher, out there in the field, I know 24/7, right? News happens fast, anytime, day or night. Talk about safety for you, having been a journalist when you're out in the field, things that you looked out for, maybe helped others avoid.
You know, always the storm surge. That's the one that gets just so many people in an emergency situation. Everybody thinks it might be the wind or the initial onslaught of that. But if we look back at Katrina, what killed a lot of people was that storm surge. And so you need to stay on high ground. You need to stay away. You don't need to be looking for trouble, literally looking for trouble. You need to stay where you are, stay in a safe place. And remember that the people that love you need you to come back. So there's no sense in going to look.
We know that there are a lot of people that like to go surfing in the midst of a storm. I know it may sound a little comical, but it is true, Major Hobbs, right?
Absolutely. Every storm. Before every storm, we have people out there surfing.
Surf's up, but not during the storm, right? Not even before it.
I mean, really. I wouldn't be surprised, sadly, but we do have issues. The last tropical storm we had coming into our area, we had surfers out there. Our officers were out there making sure people were safe, trying to get them out of the water. We even had a report of one swimmer gone missing. We were never really able to track that down. People saw somebody, people didn't see somebody. But it is definitely, they take advantage of waves that they may never see again.
And sadly, what a lot of people don't realize, for those going in to help rescue that person, John, that's out there catching a wave, we don't want that devastation to occur. We want them to survive, but it doesn't always end that way, right, Major Hobbs?
No, sadly, you know, the Gulf is a body of water that is controlled by tides and, you know, you've rip currents and things like that, and no one can control that. You know, you can be the best swimmer in the world, but you can get yourself in a situation that you just can't control very quickly.
We must think, right? We must be prepared. Absolutely. Gentlemen, it's been such a pleasure having all of you on during the segment. Okay, folks, to find out more about emergency preparedness initiatives in Okaloosa County, log on to the website you see on the screen. You can also take another look at web addresses for both the Escambia County Emergency Management Division and Sheriff's Office. Stay with us. We have more life-saving information coming up next.
American Graduate is proud to recognize a champion for education.
Skills USA is a national organization. It partners with business, industry, educators, and students, because what we're trying to achieve is to have a skilled workforce.
I'm going to school for heating and air conditioning with HVAC. That's where you learn how to work on air conditioners and refrigerators and walk-in coolers and anything to do with refrigeration.
Skills USA promotes teamwork, leadership, citizenship, character development, and creates an environment that encourages students to complete their educations and plan a career path.
Well, the most rewarding thing is to have students to be successful. Watching students start from in the beginning, coming here from either high school or another college, and being successful within their program, finding that things were a little bit easier going through their program because they had Skills USA to help them to be the best that they can be. So not only are you becoming the best that you can be in your career field, but you're proving those skills in front of business and industry partners that are going to hire you for jobs in our future.
Skills USA has helped me really step up my performance a lot more and be the best at my trade that I can be.
Skills USA at Pensacola State College, helping students discover a world of possibilities. For more stories of champions, visit americangraduate.org.
How can we best prepare our pets for natural disasters? Plus, what role can the fire department play in recovery efforts while stressing the importance of being safety conscious at all times? During this segment, it's a pleasure to welcome Dee Thompson, Executive Director of the Panhandle Animal Welfare Society, and Andrea Warren, a Field Supervisor. And next, these courageous workers from the Pensacola Fire Department are on call 24 hours, 7 days a week. We're honored to have Lieutenant Bryan Hinote and Firefighter John Bartholomew with us this evening. Dee, now when it comes to pets, do you think making preparations for them during times of peril can sometimes be overshadowed by other things?
We always stress that you do this right now. Don't wait until there's something actually going on to begin to get your pets ready, to get their vaccinations, their food, their kennel, everything ready so that they can be ready if you got to go.
Pets have emotions, feelings, getting stressed out. Please paint a picture for us, because there might be some viewers who don't realize that, hey, a pet can panic when a disaster strikes.
Well, they're definitely sensing what you're feeling, and they're also sensing the drop in the barometric pressure. They can feel that also. We have had a lot of situations where dogs have actually run away from their owners, kind of panicking under these circumstances. So it's best to keep the animals close to you, as your preparation. They're going to notice you packing. They just want to know that they've got a safe place to go with you.
All right, and we'll get back to you in just a moment. Bryan, in Pensacola, there are various situations, and we're going to start with pets and expand on other things, but I know that you help rescue pets on many occasions, not necessarily always during a natural disaster. Will you talk about that?
We typically say that you won't find a cat skeleton in a tree because cat got in a tree to get stuff out, but there are some times where it does happen. Animals get in trees, fences, they get injured and they can't get out, so we do help with those. We have access to get to up in the tree with them, so we can help with that, and that does happen from time to time.
John, as a firefighter, we might have a person that says, let me climb up the tree, or if a pet is caught in a fence, let me see what I can do, but should they just wait on you?
Yes, ma'am. We don't advise you to do anything as far as climbing trees or anything, climbing over fences or whatnot. That's what we're here for. We're a community-based fire department. We serve our community. Call 911. Get us there. Let us do what we're supposed to do for you to help you.
And John, that compounded with a natural disaster, we don't want anyone to try to be cavalier, do we? Because they may wind up getting injured themselves.
Yeah, we run these calls on a regular basis anyway, so during the time of natural disaster, we're that much more busy, and somebody doing something, trying to help with good intentions, can just add to the problem and just add to even more issues that we have to deal with during those times.
All right, Andrea, let's get back to paws and our friends, right, our pets. Now, you've worked there for how long?
I actually started at Paws in 1993, and I left for about 10 years and decided I'd rather come back and work for Paws again, so I've been back 2 years.
All right, glad you came back.
Yeah.
Okay, so during natural disasters, a lot of times pets can lose their way, right? They might run out the door, you're getting the bags together. Where's little Lola? I don't know where she is. And then we have a situation where a pet may be rescued. That's one of the services, right, that you all provide. So talk a little bit about that.
We do provide that. We want every animal that we save or rescue to go home. That's our main thing.
Initiative.
Yeah. We do tell people to please microchip their animals, register them, make sure they're up to date on their shots, and then hopefully when they come to us, we can trace the microchip and we can get them back home.
Dee, sadly, during a natural disaster, and maybe even after a natural disaster, you will rescue a lot of pets, and adoption is another feature that you all have at Paws. Why is it important for people to visit you and to give these pets a happy home?
The part about rescuing after a disaster, we do have a disaster team, and we are very focused on getting those pets back with their families. And there is a longer waiting period. Instead of just a stray wait might be 5 days, we wait 45 days before we try to adopt out stray animals from a storm. But as far as the shelter is concerned, in any given day, we take care of over 500 animals on a normal business day. There are 500 animals in our care, so the between the rescues and adopters, that's the way that our pets can get back out of the shelter and find a forever home.
All right. What about volunteerism? Are you always looking for volunteers?
Yes, and especially volunteers, you know, during a disaster or after the disaster, they can really help a lot. But we have a shelter in our Laurel Hill facility too that's small, but there's a lot of work to do up there, and they really need volunteers in that area. If there are people up in that area that could come help in Laurel Hill.
All right, and getting back to Pensacola and first responders. Now, Bryan, I realize that you might have a fire truck on the scene, you might have a police car on the scene, you might even have an ambulance on the scene. Talk about responding. A lot of times people say, well, okay, but it's not a fire, but we see a fire truck. Why might we see that?
So we are able to typically get there a little faster than ambulances. They cover a lot of ground and they've got a lot to do. They stay very busy also. So we are typically able to get to medical call in 3-4 minutes of the call so that we can get there, do what we can as first responders. We also have EMTs and paramedics, and do what we can to stabilize the situation until EMS can get there, and also assist EMS with the patient. So we do run, we do a lot of medical calls, and that's on a regular everyday basis. That's a majority of what we're doing.
All right. Now, John, let's talk about situations in addition to what you just said, Bryan, outside of a natural disaster. When I was in Charleston back in 1989, we had some areas that had major flooding, and firefighters were rescuing people maybe off of a roof of a home, from a building. So give me a few more scenarios when someone might call the fire department.
Well, we had one where down on Maxwell and Jordan on Palafox Street, we had a real bad storm, flooded real bad. We had a young lady on top of a vehicle, and myself and another firefighter, well, at the time it was Lieutenant. We got out of the truck, and at that point in time, we rescued her off of a vehicle to get her out. And pretty much water was pretty much about chest high almost, because by the time we got her out, the car had actually sunk down, and all you could see was the top of the trunk of it.
So, John, if we had a downed power line, would we see you as well? Would we see the fire department?
Yes, ma'am. Anything, down power lines, down trees, anything like that. Once that call goes out, they're going to send us out to either look at the situation to see what is going on with the situation. Then we would then reference and call other entities like Gulf Power or whatnot to come out and fix that.
Speaking of a chemical leak, for example, Bryan, you would be called out on a situation like that?
Yeah, that's one of the many things we would do. We handle the gas outside calls for gas leaks, any kind of chemical leak. We would be handling those. We would be making sure that the hazardous material would be contained. We don't handle those, but we, like John said, we try our best to stabilize the incident until other people can get there. So it's one of the many things that we would respond to.
All right. Now, Dee, during a natural disaster, let's say we have a family that decides to stay at home and the pet is there and they hear the wind, hear the rain, and they start barking. And are there special medications in some instances for animals during such scenarios?
If you probably know ahead of time that your pet may react to how the thunderstorms in this area can be pretty intense. So you contact your vet ahead of time, because you do need to know some pets react the exact opposite of what you think a sedation would do and get more hyper. So it is important to make sure you do that ahead of time.
Andrea, for these pets that come into the shelter, maybe a day or two, maybe 3 days or even a week, do you find yourself sometimes just holding the pets?
Yeah.
Comforting
Probably too
them?
much.
A little too much, but there's nothing wrong with that.
He only has 8 dogs. So.
Just as humans need comfort, pets do as well. Bryan, back to you. Every home should have a fire extinguisher, is that correct?
Fire extinguishers are great. We advise everybody to have one on hand. An ABC extinguisher is good for your papers, your woods. It's also good for flammable liquids and anything electrical.
All right, John, smoke alarms. Sometimes people think, oh, I don't really need to check and see if the battery's working, or, oh, that thing up in the ceiling. Why should we be cognizant of that?
Okay, what we tell everyone is we talk to them and we're like, it's spring cleaning. Every 6 months, change the batteries out. If you need another smoke alarm, call us. We will come out and put one in your home free of charge. As long as you're in the city limits, we'll come out. Escambia County has the same program. If you're in Escambia County, you can call Escambia County Fire Department. Same program, they'll come out and put your smoke alarm in. Those are drastically needed, because if you do have anything going on and the smoke rises, you need something to alert yourself at night, especially, that something's going on in your home.
All right, and for man's best friend and all the other pets out there, someone might own a horse, a parrot, who knows what else. Why is it important for people to seek you and maybe volunteer or even donate to your services?
Because we take in so many stray animals that need such specific help. The volunteers and the foster families that we have are so important, because we can keep so many more alive, and the initiative for PAWS is to become a no-kill shelter. So in order to do that, we have got to count on our volunteers and our foster families and staff to continue.
Well said, and thanks so much to all of you. I know I've learned a lot, and I'm sure our viewers have as well. Folks, as we close the show, I want to thank all of our guests for joining us. For more information regarding the Panhandle Animal Welfare Society, log on to www.paws-shelter.org. Remember, the Pensacola Fire Department wants you and your family to be safe. This also means obtaining free smoke alarms. For more details, log on to www.pensacolafire.com. I'm Rameca Vincent Leary. Have a good evening, and remember to keep it locked in right here on WSRE, PBS for the Gulf Coast.